Yeah.
Hi, Doc Nurse. Happy birthday! Today's October 15th, and it's Doc Nurse's birthday. And if you are also born on October 15th, you share your birthday with the following people. Now, last time I did it differently, so we'll see how people like it. We're starting off with the oldest, Virgil, the Roman poet who wrote the Aeneid, who lived from 70 to 19 BC. He was 50 when he passed away, and if he were somehow alive today, he would be 2,092 years old.
Oh man, almost made it to the big 2100. Too soon.
Oh, right. Next is Friedrich Nietzsche, who lived between 1844 and 1900. He was 55. If he were somehow alive today, he'd be 179. He's a German philosopher and cultural critic, author of God is Dead, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Beyond Good and Evil, Prelude to a Philosophy of the Future, and The Gay Science. To live is to suffer is to find some meaning in suffering. He who has the why to live can bear almost any how. He was also known for having a very, very bushy mustache, like even more than Jamie Heineman. Next is Sir Pelham Grenville Wodehouse, otherwise known as P.G. Wodehouse. They lived between 1881 and 1975. They lived to be 93, and if they were somehow alive today, they'd be 142. They are best known as the creator of Jeeves, the Supreme Gentleman's Gentleman.
Ah, like from the Ash Jeeves must have been based on
Yes,
that.
probably. That's a good chance.
Interesting.
Next, Mario Puzo, who lived between 1920 and 1999, the author of The Godfather. They were 78 and when they died, and if they were somehow alive today, they'd be 103. What's happening?
Trying to get it so I can scroll down.
Next is Anthony Hopkins. Not that Anthony Hopkins. I like that I keep finding famous names that aren't that person. This is, they lived between 1937 and 1997. They were 60, and if they were alive today, they'd be 86. They were an English clinical neurologist and director of the research unit at the Royal College of Physicians.
Fascinating.
So Dr. Anthony Hopkins instead of Sir Anthony Hopkins. Next is Penny Marshall. Now, this person I'm sure many of you will have heard of. They were born in 1943 and died in 2018. They were 75, and if she were alive today, she'd be 80. And she is best known as Laverne DeFazio on Laverne and Shirley, as well as the director of Jumpin' Jack Flash, Big, and A League of Their Own. They also had a small cameo in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I remember seeing a few things with Penny Marshall.
And ironically, I think she was playing her dad's wife, weirdly enough. If you've seen the movie, the witches find an older gentleman dressed up as Satan, and they call him Master. And his wife is sitting in the living room watching TV, and she's got these little doodads in her hair that they think are snakes, and they mistake her for Medusa. So they think Satan married Medusa. I don't know. It was just a silly joke, but it's also really weird that, the daughter was playing the
Yeah, it's like when Joan Cusack played John Cusack's ex-girlfriend in Tower Records.
Oh, is that right? And they're his mom?
Sister.
Sister, okay. Either way, that's still weird. Anyhow, moving along, Haim Saban, who turns 79.
Yeah.
I leave this one up to you.
Yeah, well, clearly, I think most people will know him from Saban Productions. It produced such movies, I can't actually think of the obscure ones. That was going to be the joke. But he's most well known for bringing Power Rangers successfully to the U.S. shores. He's not technically the first person, but he is through him, it was actually made possible. And he no longer owns the franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, some some things, didn't like really spending money, so he did a few things that were not like just not the greatest
Shady
decisions.
business practices.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say
No?
he was all on the up and up from what I could tell. He just
Okay.
hated spending money and didn't treat people well enough.
Yeah. Nowadays he couldn't get away with shit like that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Didn't break any laws as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like,
Decency.
yeah, it's just
This
like
stuff.
show some decency. These people help make you your empire.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna like even treat them with the basic amount of respect.
From what I understand, like if actors asked for more money, he'd be like, "Yeah, you're expendable. You're cut.
Yeah.
We're gonna hire somebody else to take your place."
And when they did a giant reunion thing, he sent invites out to every former Power Ranger that they could find because they actually have lost track of a few. And, or him and his people sent out an email riddled with grammatical errors,
Oh,
evidently, that were like, hey, come be on our anniversary special. And they didn't tell people.
You'll get paid $5.
Yeah, she didn't tell any of them that they're actually only going to pick like 10 of them.
Oh.
So all these people are like, oh my gosh, I got invited. And whether they plan to or not, only like the first like handful to respond were going to be able to actually be on the show, and everybody else.
So they could have put like the first 10 recipients to respond to this email will get chosen.
Yeah, or
something to
or
that effect.
something. But they just sent it out to everybody and
Yeah.
just
Hope for the best.
yeah. And like I said, not illegal.
Yeah.
Just kind of not that cool, guys.
Yeah.
But all right. But despite all that, he did bring a beloved franchise to American shores and boosted his popularity and got me into tokusatsu, which
Super Sentai.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. I love this stuff, and it's something I never would have gotten into without Power Rangers and indirectly Haim Saban, or more directly. So
yeah,
thank you.
They turned 79 today. Next, Richard Carpenter, who is turning 77. They are from The Carpenters, the band, The Carpenters.
Yeah, ask your grandmas and grandpas about that one.
Oh, you sure not your parents?
Okay, there are a
probably?
few songs that the people today may still be familiar with.
Like what?
Come on, don't put me on the spot. I don't remember.
This is what
I would remember, honestly, but
Okay.
my memory's not good. All right, I
Okay.
have bad memory.
And next, Tito Jackson of the Jackson 5. They turned 70.
Oh my gosh, the Jackson 5, were they a band?
A, B,
I'm
C,
just messing.
Easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yes, they had
Easy
one
as do,
breakout
re, mi,
member.
A, B, C, do, re, mi, between you and me,
Oh, and of course,
girl.
this time of year we can go. I saw, although that was more Michael, but it was I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus.
It's only October. She's still frozen in ice. She hasn't woken up yet. Anyhow, so Tito Jackson. Next, Larry Miller, who's also turning 70. He's a fairly well-known actor. You've probably seen him in a lot of things, but of note what I've put on my list here, Dean Richmond in the Nutty Professor movies, the Doorman in the Seinfeld episode of the same name. He played the pointy-haired boss guy in Dilbert, the animated series, and he played XR in the Buzz Lightyear Star Command series, which also had a movie and a video game where he played the voice. So that's actually pretty cool. Not too often do you have the celebrity voice actor willing to, lower themselves to do voice acting in TV shows. Well, I guess he wasn't in the movie, but to do the video game based off of something is very rare.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, I do have one Carpenter song that you should all be familiar with.
What's that?
Why do birds
Suddenly appear every time you are near.
Just like me, they long to be Azurine.
Okay, that line was different. But yeah, Larry Miller, not on my list, but he also played the father in 10 Things I Hate About You, and I believe I read that there was a TV series based off it where he played the character again. Next, Emerald Lagasse. Bam! Let's not kick it up a notch. Famous chef, known for those catchphrases and the inspiration for Elzar on Futurama.
Yes, very directly. Even has the same catchphrase, or one of the same.
He's actually Elzar's is Kick It Up a Notch. They
Was it?
changed, Kick It Up a Notch is the phrase. What was it? Knock It Up a Notch. That was what it was.
Yeah.
They changed it ever so slightly. But yeah, he's a fairly famous chef. If you aren't familiar with him, your parents definitely are. He was basically the Gordon Ramsay of his day. Everybody knew this guy. But yeah, he turned 64 today.
You'll probably still find some of his food products once in a while.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Next, Sarah Ferguson, otherwise known as Sarah, Duchess of York. She turns 64.
That's where the peppermint patties are from.
Apparently, she also goes by Fergie, but is not that Fergie. Although, apparently, she did get Fergie to perform in concert for one of her charity benefits.
I know someone with the same last name who also goes by Fergie.
Oh.
And it was also independent of the Black Eyed Peas. It was...
okay.
It was just... She
I'm
just always went by
pretty sure
Fergie.
that's what I read.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
she
probably
turned 64. Next, Dominic West turns 54. They were Jigsaw in Punisher Warzone.
Would you like to play a game?
Not that Jigsaw. Still need to see that movie though. I've not heard any good things about it.
Punisher Warzone.
I definitely want to see it anyway. I want to see almost every Marvel production. They were Theron in 300. I'm not sure what character that was, but they were in 300. Inspector Pascal Popil in Hannibal Rising. Also need to see that one. Apparently that was not Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Fred on Patrick Stewart's Christmas Carol from 1999. Dr. Jimmy McNulty on The Wire, which apparently was a fairly big character in that. Noah Soloway in The Affair, another show he was pretty big on. And he is currently playing Charles, Prince of Wales in The Crown.
Oh my gosh, so he's like the Aquaman.
I wonder if he'll get to...
Does he tell the whales what to do?
Oh. I was going to say, I wonder if his character will get to become the king in that show. Because I'm pretty sure Prince Charles is now King Charles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he is the sausage-fingered, ill-health king of...
Is that real, or are you making a joke?
He has I probably shouldn't make too much light of it. He has some health issues that do cause his fingers to...
Oh my.
Balloon.
Okay. And lastly, thankfully this one's a lot lighter and something that a younger audience will recognize. Vincent Martella, who turns 31, he is best known as the voice of Phineas Flynn on Phineas and Ferb and all the other related media that his character appeared in. He also played Jason Todd / Robin in Batman Under the Red Hood and Batman Death in the Family. And as Greg Williger as Chris's best friend in Everybody Hates Chris. He's a nerdy little kid in that.
Oh, yeah. I only watched a little bit of that.
Yeah,
show.
I didn't really get into it myself.
Yeah.
But it was like cool. He isn't just exclusive to animation. He did get a decent enough role in live action production. So now we're on to moments in history. So if you were born today, these are things that happened on this day in history. Starting in 1520, King Henry VIII of England orders bowling lanes at Whitehall. So any lions out there that happen to love bowling, that might be of interest.
Rawr.
In 1522, Emperor Carel the first names Hernan Cortez governor of Mexico.
Oh.
You've probably heard of Hernan Cortez, so I was like, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Is he related to Dan Cortez from Yo MTV Sport?
Probably not. He's the guy that was in Road to El Dorado.
Oh man, Dan Cortez was in the Road to El Dorado.
Anyhow, in 1582, Gregorian calendar introduced in Spain, Portugal, and Pontifical states after skipping 10 days after October 4th to sync the calendar.
Oh.
In 1783, Jean Pilstre de Rosier, I probably butchered that, makes the first tethered balloon ascent.
Fascinating.
Yes, indeed, fascinating. In 1789, the first U.S. president tour by George Washington in New England.
That's the guy with the wooden teeth.
That's the guy in the $1 bill and the quarter.
He chopped down that cherry tree and then was like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, he could not tell a lie.
I think all the stories we've heard about him are fake.
It's hard to say.
I'll ask him myself. Get him on the phone.
In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte arrives on the island of St. Helena to begin his exile. I thought that was an Elba, but maybe he did two tours of duty in being exiled. I don't know.
Yeah, and
we'll have to watch that new movie that's coming out to find out.
And he's not okay. He's not word I can't say okay. It's a Helena reference. MCR.
Okay.
No? Somebody out there knows MCR.
Okay, you'll have to tell me after. In 1860, 11-year-old Grace Bedell writes to Abraham Lincoln telling him to grow a beard.
Yes, Grace.
Did I pronounce it wrong?
That's okay. Yeah.
You tell it.
Grace Bedell from supposedly, and I heard that this is possibly attributed to a few small towns and may not actually have happened. But the idea is that Grace Bedell saw, the president with his face clean shaven and said he would look better with a beard. Evidently, he looked too young or his face was too odd shaped. Who knows? But she supposedly gave this letter to Abraham Lincoln at a train station in my hometown of Westfield, New York.
Oh.
So that's the whole thing. We actually have a statue where the old Grand Theater used to be located. It's a Grace Bedell Park, and it's a statue of Grace Bedell and Abraham Lincoln. He has his hat off to her, and there's some park benches. And a little addition to that, there used to be someone in the town that used to relieve themselves in various areas, and one of the areas they did this was in Lincoln's hat. If you see, I know it has nothing to do with this story, but it's true. But anyway, yes, that supposedly happened in my hometown. All of that actually happened in my hometown.
So, yeah, sounds like they must have been real if all of this stuff happened named after them and all that.
People believe it's a real story.
I would imagine she thought he would look more distinguished and people would want to vote for him more if he had a beard.
Yeah.
And she was right, evidently. He won the presidency. Anyhow, in 1878, Edison Electric Light Company is incorporated. In 1881, the first American fishing magazine, American Angler, is published. So any of you out there who enjoy fishing, there you go. In 1886, Modest Mussorgsky.
Oh, Night on Bald Mountain.
Yes, musical fantasy Night on Bald Mountain premieres at Kononov Hall in St. Petersburg, Russia. So yeah, if you didn't know, Night on Bald Mountain is apparently a Russian composition.
Dun 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 dun.
So yeah, if you've ever seen Fantasia, that's where Chernobog gets his origin music from.
Yeah, or if you're a fan of campy 70s music, that is the background to Night on Danger Mountain, I believe, is the title from the Staying Alive or Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
It's also the intro to What the Heck, Level 2 in Earthworm Jim.
And if you watched any cartoon in the 80s, you heard it.
Probably. And
oh my gosh,
the next one is going to sound familiar from the birthday list. In 1888, German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche decides to write his autobiography, Ecce Homo, on his 44th birthday. I probably butchered that, but that's my best attempt at reading it. It's ECCEHOMO.
What is it about? I mean...
It's about him. It's his autobiography.
Oh, okay, but does he mean that in the...
Probably not.
Okay, because I know that words have different meanings these days, or certain meanings have been pushed to the forefront while other meanings have fallen behind.
I mean, he did write a book about something gay, as I recall from earlier. But yeah, it's probably... Probably about, Homo erectus and all that, Homo sapien and whatnot. Anyhow, in 1895, Henry Perky pens a machine he developed with William Ford for the preparation of cereals for food, otherwise known as shredded wheat.
Ah, yes. Interestingly enough, I can't eat the frosted variety typically because it's made with gelatin.
Oh.
Apparently helps the sugar stick to the wheat. But not always.
In 1905, union workers at NVV rejects safety demands. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. There's a fair amount of union stuff that happened on this date. And if you don't keep up with current events, there has been some union strikes in Hollywood lately. You want to chime in about any of that? Or?
Oh, yeah, the Writers Guild strike, which has since ended. But the supporting, what is it?
Is the actors?
Yeah, the SAG-AFTRA strike. I don't know has that been resolved yet?
From what I recall, I don't think they have.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, they struck together.
One went on strike and then the other followed suit.
Yeah. So it's kind of a bad time for it. Well, it will be a bad time for entertainment when all of this catches up to where we're at, because there's all this content that's already been produced.
Mm-hmm.
When that's done, we will finally start seeing some of the effects of this. And let me tell you, the last time it happened, things got pretty boring.
Yeah. Thankfully, video games exist.
Yes, come check us out on Twitch.
Next, we have 1912. The Red Sox, Tris Speaker makes only World Series unassisted double play from the outfield.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see what that looked like and looked up videos of unassisted double play. Not of this, but he's the only one that's done it during the World Series. Yes. But it's happened many times in baseball. Although it is rare, there's unassisted double plays and triple plays.
Wow. But not from the outfield, though, right? It's got to be
from the outfield. I don't know. Some of them are. Some of them might have been.
Okay.
But they like said, the big deal is that this happened during the World Series. This is when two peak teams are potentially at their peak. So it just doesn't really happen. Yes. And let me tell you, oh my goodness, not a big sports fan, but that is some exciting stuff to see double and triple plays.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah.
The double play is so cool. Two people. Okay, well, anyway.
If only something like that was more common, it would be more interesting to watch. Because otherwise,
I can't argue with
baseball can be fairly slow.
Yes. When it's a slow game, nothing happens for the whole thing.
But anyhow, in 1914, a U.S. Clayton Antitrust Act is passed. The union and strike rights. 1917, Baseball World Series, Chicago White Sox beat the New York Giants 4-2 at Busch Stadium to clinch series 4-2 for their second World Series triumph. I tried not to include too many sports things. There's
quite a few in this one.
There was a lot going through the history of baseball and Olympics. There was a lot of Olympic events happened on this day as well. But nothing like groundbreaking or like first ever type of thing or record that still holds up stuff. So I didn't want to bog down the list too much. Next is 1919. 14 horses begin a 300-mile race from Vermont to Massachusetts for $1,000 prize money. Now, considering it is 1919, a decade later the stock market would crash, if I remember my history right. $1,000 is probably a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah, it's probably like 10,000 by today. Let me see. I'm gonna find out, but you can keep going.
In 1923, the Baseball World Series, New York Yankees beat the New York Giants 6-4 in Game 6 at the Polo Grounds for a 4-2 series win. Yankees' first World Series victory. Go Yankees, I guess. I'm a New Yorker now, so I can say that. In 1924, President Calvin Coolidge declares the Statue of Liberty a national monument. So I actually should have looked into this whenever it was that we received the Statue of Liberty. Apparently, they weren't considered a national monument until 1924.
Yes. Okay, I looked up the thing about the $1,000. This first website I've checked out says it would be worth $17,791.27 in today's money.
So over $17,000.
Which would get you half a year's of college.
Oh my.
Quarter of a house, maybe, if you're lucky. Oh, actually, no, it wouldn't even get you a quarter of a house, and that's not even a joke.
Well, that's also more due to our like what's going on today. Back then, it probably still could have.
Yeah, back then you could have gotten things for a lot cheaper, even including inflation or accounting for inflation.
Like a house probably was $500 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 1925, Baseball World Series, Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Washington Senators 9-7 in Game 7 at Forbes Field for 4-3 series victory. Pirates' first team to recover from a 3-1 deficit in a 7-game series. So there you go. That was why that was included. In 1933, the 20th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution goes into effect. The presidential term begins in January, not March. In 1937, Ernest Hemingway's novel To Have and to Have Not is published.
I have not read it.
Me neither. In 1939, LaGuardia Airport opens in New York City.
Yeah, my mom had some relatives that flew in there once. It was like, hey, you gonna come pick us up? We're at LaGuardia. And Mom's like, we live on the other side of New York. That's like a 9-hour trip in traffic. Geez. Like, they just assumed anywhere in New York was near us. And we're in Western New York, and that's New York City. That is, on a good day with good traffic, like, maybe less than 9 hours.
Probably not.
But yeah, realistically.
But anyway, everybody, like, LaGuardia is such a famous place. Anybody who's ever seen anything about air flight has probably heard of LaGuardia.
Yeah. Or like the first Ninja Turtles movies. Oh, yeah, to LaGuardia or something like that. When they saw Raphael hit the car, they were like, what was that? It's like, looked like a giant turtle in a trench coat. He's like, we're headed to LaGuardia or something like that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's where the passenger was headed.
In 1940, The Great Dictator, a satirical social commentary film by and starring Charlie Chaplin is released. In 1941, Hideki Tojo is appointed the Prime Minister of Imperial Japan. Yeah, I always gotta find something Japanese to put in there. In 1951, I Love Lucy, starring Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, debuts on CBS.
I have a magnet on the fridge that I got from the Lucy Museum. Yeah, this is, we live fairly close to where she grew up. We actually, that park that has the two statues, the ugly one and the good one, both in the same park. My ASL class used to meet there for, sign language practice.
If anybody is unfamiliar, ASL stands for American Sign Language.
Yes, we would do some signs, ASL. So, yeah, we would do it at the Lucille Ball Memorial Park or Celeron Park if you're older. And I went to the museum with a friend, and it's really cool. They have reproductions of the sets and everything, and there is so much more.
Vitamin and Benjamin.
Yes. Oh, you can do a little commercial for that. There they have the script for it. It's so cool, costumes, and the story is amazing. The story is amazing.
Also on that day in 1951, the first synthesis of an oral contraceptive, norepinephrine, I'm probably butchering that, is made by Louis E. Miramontes under direction of Carl Gerasi and George Rosenkrantz at the Mexican drug company Syntex.
Yeah, if Carl Gerasi ever crossed Rosenkrantz, he would be, darn it, I lost it!
Guildenstern something?
Yes,
something?
There was a Guildenstern joke. He would be Guildenstern with him. There you go! It was doomed from the beginning. Just like Rosenkrantz and Guildenstern.
In the following year, 1952, Charlotte's Web by E.B. White and illustrated by Garth Williams is published by Harper and Brothers.
Yeah, that book got banned because animals talk in it.
Really?
Yeah, some areas.
Oh my goodness.
How ridiculous, though. Animals talking, it's absurd. Absurd. Animals can't talk.
1955, Buddy Holly opens for Bill Haley and his Comets in Lubbock, Texas, and impresses Nashville scout Eddie Crandall, leading to a recording contract with a misspelling that creates Buddy Holly, spelled without the E in Holly.
Oh, that's pretty neat. A good way to brand. Did you ever see the guy from Weezer? He looks just like Buddy Holly.
Ooh-wee-oo.
Something about Mary Tyler Moore,
Yes.
too. But, his sweater was destroyed when he walked away from them.
I don't care about that. please listen or watch the music video Weezer did for their song Buddy Holly. It's a great song.
It is.
Great video. In 1956, the first plane to land safely on water, Pan Am Flight 6 from San Francisco to Honolulu. All 24 passengers and 7 crew survive. Kind of crazy to think of a passenger plane with only 24 passengers going to Hawaii was a thing.
I know, right? It'd probably be a smaller twin prop plane,
Maybe?
I would imagine. But I know Pan Am
1956?
Pan Am developed a bad name after a while from their
Yeah,
accidents.
Pan Am.
I don't know if they've recovered.
I don't think Pan Am is still a company. But anyhow, in
Probably
1959, a TV series, The Untouchable, starring Robert Stack, premieres in the U.S.
Oh yeah, my dad used to sing that song. How does it go? And I run away. Okay.
Okay.
I wonder, wonder why. He said that was used the theme song for the show. I never watched the show, so I have to take his word for it.
I just know the name Robert Stack is fairly well known, isn't he?
From Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes, that was what I
and
was thinking.
also Ultra Magnus. He's in the back. He's in the back there. He was Ultra Magnus in the Transformers, the original movie from 1986.
The Transformers the movie. Okay.
Yes, but he did not reprise the role for the television
In
show.
1966, Black Panther's Party is created by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland, California. So yeah, he is the guy that you've probably seen depictions of in movies and TV shows. He is extremely identifiable. This guy, like in that movie we watched, an actor played him in that. Pretty sure in Black Dynamite.
Oh.
And I want to say he might have been depicted in the Boondocks, and probably a couple other shows we've seen. But anyway, yeah. And also on that day, Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, signs a bill creating the U.S. Department of Transportation. So yeah, did not know that that hasn't always been a thing. The Department of Transportation is as new as 1966. The following year, 1967, the Motherland Calls, a monumental statue commemorating the Battle of Stalingrad, is completed in Volgograd, Russia. Then the world's tallest statue, designed by Yevgeny Vuchetich.
Yevgeny. I thought that was a made-up name. That was it Eugene Merman's name and... Or Eugene's name and oh my gosh,
That
Delocated.
Right. Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah, the guy who
but
voices.
Yeah, basically, it's a picture. It's a statue of an angel holding a sword aloft. So the sword's height is probably what makes it the world's tallest. But yeah, it's fairly impressive. It looks, without any like context of what's around it, it looks like it'd just be a regular size statue that you'd see anywhere. But I'm fairly certain that this thing is like Statue of Liberty sized. The fact that it was the world's tallest and the Statue of Liberty existed, so it must be taller than that. So, it's pretty wild. I wonder what the world's tallest is now. Also, I guess it would be taller than the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio, right?
Probably.
Because I'm pretty sure that's older than 1967, right? Yeah, we covered that recently. Next, 1969. Nice. The third Country Music Association Awards, Johnny Cash and Tammy Wynette win. In 1971, the world's first arcade video game, Computer Space, is developed by Syzygy, first demonstrated at the MOA show in the United States. So yeah, video games was born on this day.
Well, arcade video games.
Are you saying it was video games before arcade games?
Look, I don't know. I haven't done the research.
But okay, you're right. It does say the first arcade video game. But yeah, first video games. Like, come on, that's pretty crazy. And also, anybody out there who thought that Asteroids may have been, or Pong was the first video game? No, Computer Space. There you go. One of them beat it to the punch. 1972, 17-year-old American tennis prodigy Chris Evert wins inaugural WTA Tour Championship at Boca Raton, Florida, beating Australian Kerry Melville Reid 7-5 and 6-4. Evert not eligible for prize money.
Weird.
How weird is that, right? This young tennis prodigy, only 17 years old. Yeah, you're not old enough to win the money. Sorry. It's like, that's bogus. Yeah, that was the main reason I included it. Normally I wouldn't have bothered putting something like that on there, but the fact that this person won and they didn't get the money, I think was so criminal. I hope they got some kind of reparations eventually. You all right over there, girl? Oh, you're looking at your phone.
Yeah, well, it's getting very hot. But also,
Yes.
the first video game, 1958.
Does it say what?
It doesn't have a proper title, apparently. It was a game similar to Pong.
Let's see, 1958. Oh my, 71. That's quite a while ways.
Yeah.
back further.
Just I had to look it up because I didn't want to be like, yeah, it's the first video game ever. And
Okay,
be like,
okay. Next, in 1973, the 7th Country Music Awards Association Awards, Roy Clark wins. And also on that same day, country music artist Dolly Parton releases a single, Jolene,
yeah,
giving Jolene Cujo her name.
yeah, and they referenced the song in one of the early episodes of Stone Ocean, where
Really?
yeah, the character we pointed it out. The character is berating her in her cell, and she's saying the line from the song, which is just her saying Jolene over and over again, but she says it in that rhythmic way. Jolene. I'm screwing it up, but
It's okay.
But it is clearly a reference to the Dolly Parton song. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
The following year, 1974, Nobel Prize for Chemistry awarded to Paul J. Flory for work on macromolecules.
I wonder if he's related to Flory from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Different spelling, Flory.
Yeah, I don't know how Flory spells his name. He doesn't have hands.
You're right. 1976, the first debate of major ticket U.S. vice president nominees, Walter Mondale, Democrat, and versus Bob Dole, Republican. How did I say?
Bob Dole.
Yeah, thank you. Also on that same day, 1976, Ringo Starr released his single, A Dose of Rock and Roll, which peaks at number 26 in the U.S. and fails to chart in the U.K.
That is sad.
Yeah.
He's often regarded as the least successful Beatle.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
His name means apple in Japanese.
Ah. You ever see that horror movie, Apple?
I don't think so.
That was a Ringu joke.
Oh.
Maybe she's an apple demon.
Okay. In the following year, 1977, Serpentine Fire, single released by Earth, Wind & Fire, which went on to become the Billboard Song of the Year in 1978. And on the same day, Debbie Boone's You Light Up My Life goes to number 1 and stays number 1 for 10 weeks.
That's all I remember.
Okay. Then in 1980, Nobel Prize in Economics is awarded to Lawrence Klein for creating statistical models to predict economic cycles. Klein first gained renown by accurately predicting that an economic boom would follow the end of World War II. In 1981, professional cheerleader Crazy George Henderson leads what is thought to be the first audience wave in Oakland, California.
I wonder if that's still a thing. No one talks about a wave anymore.
Yeah, there we go.
I was the other end of the wave. You didn't see.
In 1984, a Central Intelligence Agency Information Act is passed. In 1985, the Nobel Prize for Economics is awarded to Franco Modigliani. Also in 1985, the Shuttle Columbia carries Space Lab into orbit. Am I hitting the wrong button here?
Yeah.
There we go. In 1986, good year, Yuan T. Lee is the first Taiwanese Nobel Prize winner for chemistry, alongside Dudley R. Hirschbach and John C. Polanyi for their contributions concerning the dynamics of chemical elementary processes. So yeah, a lot of Nobel Prizes are given out on this day. In 1989, American radio and television evangelist Billy Graham is given the 1,900th star on the Hollywood Boulevard, the first clergyman to be granted a star.
I have a book with a foreword from him. It's the one I wanted to put ketchup in.
Oh, okay, that's something I think our audience didn't need to know.
Yeah.
Just kind of crazy that we probably reached 2,000 stars in the Hollywood Walk of Fame by the time most people watching this probably were born.
Yeah.
Like by 1990, like we were probably close to 2,000. That's
you want to start now? You're gonna be out in like the ghetto, and you have to be like, "Hey, can I have a star?" And they're like, "Sure, that would be $30,000." That's kind of how it works.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's not as prestigious as people think, but it is still cool as heck.
I would charge them for it.
Oh yeah, I would do it. I would do it proudly.
Okay. Also on that date, 1989, Wayne Gretzky passes Gordie Howe as the NHL's all-time top scorer. If there's any hockey player you've ever heard of, it's probably Wayne Gretzky.
Yep, Mario Lemieux. Wait a minute, who's Wayne Gretzky? Sorry, I shouldn't say his name. I've heard he's been canceled.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't follow hockey. My apologies.
In 1990, Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev wins the Nobel Peace Prize. I did not look into what he won it for. In 1991, Clarence Thomas is confirmed as the U.S. Supreme Court Justice, 52-48. In 1993, Amstel Brewery on Curacao produces its 1 billionth bottle.
Let's get some Blue Curacao.
Also in 1993, Nelson Mandela and South African President F.W. de Klerk are awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. You've probably all heard of Nelson Mandela. He's got that effect named after him.
Oh, yes. You're actually not wrong. That is what it's named after.
It is named after him, but it's not because he did anything.
It's because people are dumb.
Yes.
Although the effect is very appropriate, the terminology for it.
But yeah,
it's a great metaphor, but it's just a metaphor. It's not real.
For those that are unaware, the Mandela effect is based off of a false assumption that people thought he died in prison. And in fact, he lived, I think, like 30 more years after when he was thought to have died.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's just people have bad memories.
I don't know why that is what stuck and not anything else.
I think it's just because it's so noteworthy, and most people have little anecdotes like, "Oh, that's not how they used to spell that word.
Yeah,
they changed it." People are like, "No, it's always been that way." Ah, that's because the dimensional slipping. No, it's absurd, and if you believe it, you're silly. You're a silly, silly goose. But we love you anyway.
You're a bird.
I'm a bird. I can say these things.
In 1997, Britain's Andy Green sets jet-powered car record at 763.035 miles per hour. Interesting that it's in miles per hour, not kilometers, since it's Britain. In 1997, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry is awarded to Jens Christian Skow, Paul D. Boyer, and John E. Walker for their work on enzymes in the body. As well as on that day, two more things. New York jury awards boxer Mitch Green $45,000 in a civil lawsuit against Mike Tyson for a street brawl in 1988.
The law moves very slowly.
Yes, it does. Also, Mike Tyson always causing trouble, evidently. In 1997, the U.S. launches a nuclear-powered Cassini to Saturn.
I used to have a Saturn Ion.
Then in 2000, Larry David's comedy show Curb Your Enthusiasm debuts on HBO.
Yeah, you know that song from the memes.
Yes.
And you know the show from having watched it, which I have yet to do.
Okay.
Never seen it. Not a single episode.
That's
one clip. I've seen one clip.
Okay, then there you go.
Jason Bateman in it.
Oh, cool. In 2001, NASA's Galileo spacecraft passes within 112 miles of Jupiter's moon Io.
Galileo?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I messed that up.
Galileo.
Galileo, Figaro,
Magnifico.
I see a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family.
Spare him his life from this monstrosity. Will you let me go?
Okay, we gotta move.
No, I'll let you go. Okay. But yeah, going back to Curb Your Enthusiasm briefly, they do not have a script for the show. They have like an outline of what the plot will be, and they just let the actors riff on each other and get the story to where it's supposed to go. So it's like the only show I think that does it like that, and that's probably why it lasted so long, because it's such an interesting style. 2003, China launches the Shenzhou 5, its first manned space mission. Kind of crazy to think China took that long, huh?
Yeah. They send lots and lots of probes out, but yeah, that was their first manned mission, and more power to them. If more countries can send out explorers, maybe we can demystify outer space, space just a little bit, and get more people interested.
Yes, agreed.
Wow.
And in 2011, Legoland, Florida, the world's largest Legoland theme park, opens in Winter Haven, Florida. I'll have to ask Lionel if that's anywhere close to where he lives. In 2013, Walmart announces that Doug McMillon is head of the international division, will become its next CEO. And 2017, actress Alyssa Milano's tweet, "If you've been sexually harassed or assaulted, write Me Too," prompts floods of replies from across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yes. She's named after the cookie. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, yeah, that's the name of the ship in Guardians of the Galaxy, which it is named after her.
Yes.
But more importantly, yes, what she stood for was incredible because a lot of people had trouble speaking out.
Yes.
And by her providing this platform, yeah, lots of people spoke out. Some people,
not just the platform, but just the concept
of reporting.
Yes.
And like some people who maybe had reported before were pushed for the forefront, or they got a second win.
Yes.
And it even included, I believe, some male actors like Corey Feldman and Terry Crews.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I had no idea that it was attributed to such a famous person, or even that we knew who started it. But yeah, in 2018, American retailer Sears files for bankruptcy, as well as Indian minister and editor M.J. Akbar files for the defamation. Why was I having trouble with that? A defamation case after being accused of sexual harassment by multiple women in #MeToo case. So a year later, and this was still strong enough to have such a big case like this happen. And finally, in 2019, I think it's final.
It is the final, yes.
Yeah. Record 12 Democratic presidential candidates participate in a live TV debate in Westerville, Ohio.
Yeah. We know who won that one, though.
Who?
It was me.
Who?
I won it.
Congratulations!
I am the president. Yay! I'm the president. The first thing I'm going to do is down with all the things you like.
No!
No more furries.
No more injury.
Animals shouldn't talk.
No!
All I know is who I want to be president in 2024.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Well, I'll give you a clue. He's got very tiny hands.
Robin?
Yes, because he's got a bird name.
Oh, hey, I was afraid where you were going with that. Okay. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Dr. Nurse, however you prefer to go by. I hope you had a great birthday. I hope you liked the video. Anybody else out there whose birthday it was today, hope you enjoyed it as well. If you're watching this and you want us to do a birthday video for you, please let us know in the comments. And we'll see you in a few days for another birthday video. We got one more coming before we got a little break, and there will be one more in the month of October. You all right there, girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.